This is Cresso, and this is part 61 of the Human Journal, Status Quo. Last night I had a very interesting conversation with a friend of mine about this topic on a social setting, for example, online, and so we were just going deeper about it, and I talked about this similar in my other clips, but as far as the status quo, I definitely see how it impacts people in different walks of life. It depends on the individual, but as far as for me, how I go about impacting people, and not get too involved in people, in the sense of, I'll do my best to explain. I like to inspire people, for example, online. You know, I do my videos, audios, but my blog, and however I can on the internet. And but it's very tricky with the status quo, because I know how it works. I know what to look out for, and when I get too wrapped up in different groups of people, you find yourself hearing things like, well, you should do this. Oh no, Cresso, you should do that. Oh no, Cresso, I think you should do this. No, you sound a little bit too off key. Oh no, you should do this. Oh no, you should do that. Oh, you should do this. And everybody's just trying to groom you however they feel what's fit. And I like to inspire people. That's one of my passions in this life, because I know the benefits behind it. But then I like to do it, and then I like to keep it a balance, to be at a distance. Nothing against anybody. It's just I like to keep at a distance. And I was just telling that to my friend yesterday. If I'm going to be at a conference, let's say out and about talking to people in person, yeah, I like to be surrounded by people to talk, or to inspire people, but as far as being too intimate, in the sense of, and this is very tricky, because the mind could definitely play games with you if you're not careful. I'm not all about trying to get into groups. I like to express things. I know, again, we all have different thoughts and ideas, and and that's great. I just rather have a balance to inspire people at a distance, and not get too caught up with these groups. Some of the stuff I might say in this audio is going to be a little bit similar to my other clips when it comes to this. I mean, I've done clips on celebrities being popular and all that stuff, but I know the status quo is it does starts at an early age. And I was just having this conversation with my friend, and like, I feel like, sometimes the feeling of being lonely creeps in. I don't know I ran through a quote maybe a year ago. It says something about great leaders are basically loners. So if you're a loner, you consider yourself a loner, or maybe you have maybe a few friends, but you still see yourself as a loner. I mean, you shouldn't underestimate yourself. But I did saw a quote about how being a leader is considered lonely, but I feel like a lot of people have the ability to be leaders anyway. But as far as that, when you just interacting with people, And when you find yourself a lot of people trying to pull you here and then pull you there with suggested ideas, and then you find yourself feeling pressured and all that, I'm like, no. I'm going to be what I'm going to groom how I want to be groomed. And, that was always, I felt, looking back, growing up, I always felt that way. I grew up in a household being compared to people that I'm not crazy about, but I just do my best to remain me, just be myself. Going to school, I was very quiet. I was a very quiet kid in class. I observe a lot of things in class, kids' behavior, teachers' behavior. And I got comments. People think someone like myself is quiet, is considered dangerous. Believe it or not, those are the stuff that I've been labeled as. And some people find me mysterious, that I'm very quiet. I spent a great deal analyzing people for a very long time, and myself too. And going to school, and then from let's just say high school, I have a lot of times in high school that I hang out with a few kids. I've seen different groups of kids. I've seen that, and during my free time, I used to just walk around throughout my whole high school, and to kill time. I'm pretty sure a lot of people listening to this audio could pretty much relate. And I have a few friends. I never really found myself the pressure of trying to fit in. I never had anybody that tried to pressure me. It's like, hey, come on, just join this group, be there. I got into social groups in my freshman year in high school, and I want to, I don't mind being social with people. I know it's some things I was able to be aware of things a little bit quicker about certain behavior traits, and I just always be myself. Now I've gotten into some trends, some clothes, some fashion and stuff like that. I did some experiment, and maybe I could consider myself I was going through some sort of phase. And in the 90s growing up, and in the mid 90s in high school, I just developed certain styles, and I wore certain styles, and I found myself, the way I was dressing is somewhat it's like a trend picked up because of TV. I've experimented on that, and that didn't last for a minute. I just look at it. I felt like I didn't feel authentic, like I was authentic. I really felt fake, and I didn't feel good about it. But I seen that style, for example, that a lot of people it was like everybody was dressed in a certain way, and I just felt weird about it. I wore clothes a certain way, and I just stopped. Not because anybody was making fun of me, I just didn't feel good inside. So I just stopped. I just dressed how I want to dress. But I guess maybe I was very fortunate that I never had anybody that literally challenged me about, oh, how come you don't dress like these people or like these kids or that. I don't know. But I spent most of my time, I was just very quiet. And that's just how I carry myself and throughout school. And but I know that the pressure is a lot more great as a teenager, especially in American culture, about just trying to fit in. I'm trying to fit that status quo. And I know the downfall of it. And I guess I feel fortunate that as far as a social setting, that, and this, some people might take this that I'm boasting. I'm not. I'm very fortunate that I have a head on my shoulder, meaning I I was able to recognize different things, and yeah, I did experiment on certain things by myself. No one pressured me. I've done certain things. You know, I could have been like one of those kids in high school smoke. It was right there in front of me. I mean, who's there to stop me? But I didn't. I just had my own mind. I think for myself, meaning I didn't really fall into the crowd. So I guess maybe as far as a paradigm of the status quo, I guess I consider myself a loner. But I had a few friends, you know, but I was never the type of kid growing up in school, for example, that had to be in a large crowd. I was never like that. That just wasn't my life experience so far. I had a job. It's the same thing at a job. Stick with a few colleagues, talk to a few colleagues, do what I got to do, and that's it. You know. But I spend a great deal of time analyzing myself and people, and you know, and yeah, you know, growing up, yeah, I did consider myself very shy. Very quiet, very shy. And then I gotta say, doing the YouTube clips and showing my face and the stuff I talk about, that's very ballsy of me. Because I do talk a lot of stuff that is very easy for my ego to tell me that, you know, Kressler, a lot of stuff you're talking about is very strange, it's very weird. And that's where the status quo comes in, because a lot of stuff I do talk about is not, you know, I keep it real. That I think a lot of people is very good. I think it's a very good, healthy way for people to really self-examine themselves, to be honest. You know, we all have differences. You know, and it's really cool that everybody's unique. And I think a lot of people should explore that. The idea of being normal does keep you in a very limited space. Ran through an article of Status Quo, very interesting, and I put the article in my description on his journal, on the Status Quo. I had to really examine myself reading this article. One part that I saw about people disagreeing with me, and not get upset when people disagree with me. You know, I had to examine that. And yeah, I had lots of people throughout my life disagree with me. I have lots of people say things to me that they have no clue what they're talking about. But that's their viewpoint. That's their opinion. I do what I can through the years to have an open mind. And, you know, to hear what somebody have to say. I did develop through time that when somebody does talk to me or communicate to me, even on the internet, I'm able to pick up, or let's just say, I'm able to pick up an ego. For example, someone's being egotistic. I could tell somebody's not happy. Doesn't take much to figure out, especially reading the email. Now, I know reading sometimes could be very, you can misinterpret it what people say. I know that. It's very easy. But I give people chances. Somebody want to wrong me for whatever it is, I give people chances. Do I get upset sometimes? Yeah, I do. You know? Am I open that there's different ways to look at things? Yes. Do I recognize somebody is saying something and I sense and I can pick up right away that someone's basically, let's just put it this way. I think a lot of people listening to this audio could recognize that somebody is giving you feedback versus somebody is just basically putting you down because they're very unhappy. I could recognize those things very easy. So, but I give people chances. And then depends on the conversation, whether through the internet or the conversation, I give people chances, and then while doing that, I just, what I do is that, I just do what I can to expose somebody's ego. I do. And then I have to watch out for my own ego too. People are going to say what they want. there's a fine line. There's a fine line with this. Not getting yourself angry and not putting yourself as a people pleaser. You know, I know some of the stuff I'm sharing in this journal is a little bit of repeat on some stuff, but I just want to really specifically talk about the status quo and how it does affect people. It does. The article that I put on my description is very interesting, and you know, it's very important for a lot of us to really understand that, you know, a lot of people are very unique. They have a lot of things to offer. If you could just put the negativity vibe that you carry, and let's say, like, you know, even myself included, and understand that everybody has different things to offer. Now, if people are doing something intentionally, trying to steer people the wrong way, you know, that's something else you have to look into for yourself. But people will pick it up. It's going to get exposed one way or another. Yeah, you know, the ego makes things very complicated. It does. You know, people are unique. And just because people are unique doesn't take anything away from you. People don't take anything away from me. If people, for example, if they want to put themselves in a hater box and say stuff to me, whether on the phone or whether on the internet or in person, you know, I gotta understand that I gotta examine myself, and then I have to look at it that, okay, and then you know, depends how I feel. I'm gonna be honest, straight up. You know, I'm gonna ask this person questions about, you know, what do you mean by that? You know, I want to find out what this person means. Some people come across so rash, so arrogant, and you know, it's like, you know, but the ego, if we don't control that mind, and I emphasize this a lot, lots of my clips, if we just come together at a point that you being unique, and I being unique, it's not going to take anything away from anybody. Okay? Yes, there will always be people. I guess, you know, that's the way humanity operates. There's going to be people that disagrees. There's going to be people with tons of different personalities, and that's it. You know, it's just, you know. But you know, the thing is, for me, you know, even growing up, you know, I mean, I just remained true to myself. I did. But yeah, I could have fallen into a lot of stuff, a lot of peer pressure stuff. I mean, yeah, I wanted to have a little bit more of a social lifestyle. I mean, not like I live in a box by myself. No, I socialize. You know. There's some things that, no, I didn't do the traditional way of like being a basketball team and other stuff. No, you know, my mother, she was very overprotective, and you know, I didn't really, you know, my social life was like somewhat average or whatever growing up, but I had a head on my shoulder. I know what I want. I know what kind of people that I wanted to hang out with. I was very selective, and I'm still am to this day. I'm very selective who I hang out with. I do what I can to help people. As far as friendship, developing new friends. Sometimes I'm open for new friends, and sometimes I'm just like, I'm good. You know. You know. Sometimes I have thoughts of things that happened in the past, and I have to work through it, letting go of certain things in the past, about far as trusting people. So I got to do a balance. Sometimes I have to work certain details about balancing. But yeah, there's sometimes I'm open for friendship, and sometimes I'm not. But as far as the status quo, yeah, I want to inspire people. I really enjoy it. You know, I just don't want to get caught in with the groups, too many groups. I know a lot of celebrities, a lot of actors, for example, they go through that. And, You know, that's what the conversation also kind of started off. I was just talking about celebrities, and like for example, actors, and in the status quo. It could definitely be very powerful, and like very difficult to control it, unless it's very important to recognize your true value of yourself, and to remain steadfast, and just not give a fuck about whether if you're normal or not. You know, don't worry about normal. I mean, what is normal? You know, so no, I'm not normal. I don't know if I recall myself describing me as normal, but no, I am not normal by far, and I don't care whether if I'm able to fit in to a population of the mass population of this earth. I don't care. I just speak the truth within my higher self, and that's what matters the most. When my ego would try to suggest me that I'm this and that, well, yes. You know, I communicate with people that they feel lonely and all that, and you know, it's a challenge. But you know, just because you feel lonely, that doesn't make you any lesser than anybody. You know, you know, you have to learn. It's important to learn to love yourself. You know, look at it like this: if people don't understand you, no matter how hard you try, and you got all the great qualities, and you know yourself more than anybody else, and you feel like people can't get you, don't worry about it. Okay? There's going to be challenges and stuff like that, but you have to understand that you're the focal point of your own life, and I'm the focal point of my own life. I'm going to be and live however I want to live. I'm going to groom however I want to groom. So I feel confident to say that I could dismantle the status quo paradigm. It will try here and there to say, oh no, you need to be this. You need to be a little bit more spiffy like this. Or you need to have your hair slicked back like that. Or you need to be more toned for that. If I'm going to be more toned physically, I'm going to do it for myself. I want to feel good. If I want to wear a certain particular cologne, I'm going to wear a particular cologne because it smells good because I like it. I mean, yeah, my wife, you know, I mean, I have a lot of people to say things to me, say, hey, you know, or for example, my friend, she would say things like, oh, you know, she will give her feedback, and I'm open to that. But ultimately, the one that's going to be making the decision is me. I'm the one that makes the decision, how I live my life. I am the captain of my own ship. And I think that because of that, I take very good pride about that. And I really, doing this audio, this journal, I really inspire everybody to take that mentality in. Because the benefits that we all get by going about this in a certain way, it's more freeing. You know, you're not going through pressure, you know, because, you know, if we're going to get caught in a status quo, it's going to disappoint you. Yeah, it's going to feel good for the moment, but it's going to disappoint you. You know, you have to recognize your true self. And, yeah, it's not hard. It may seem hard. Our thoughts and feelings are real. You know, feeling lonely and all that, yeah, that stuff is real. Yeah, it's the stuff comes in. You know, your feelings are validated. This is how you feel. It's validated, yes. But don't let it consume you. You know, that's something that I tell myself. I just laid out exactly what I want in the beginning of this journal. When I interact with people, when I want to impact people, I like to impact people at a distance. If I'm going to interact people in a more, let's say in a personal setting, yeah, I find myself surrounded with people with a microphone to inspire people. But far as, if you can picture again what I'm saying, far as being attached to different groups in a sense of worrying about whether if I'm going to be or fit into this cookie cutter way of being, or an idea that they want me to be. No, I'm not. And I'll pretty much say up front to anybody. I mean, if I hear somebody throwing stuff, And I'm like, look, I know the intention is great, but it's not to my liking. If I see it, I'm going to tell someone, I'm going to tell an individual or group straight up, that, look, I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to be myself. In the end, I'm going to be me. Okay, all right? Now, if I allow anybody to control me or anything, it's because of me. I allow it. Nobody else but me. And, yeah, I mean, you got advertisement. You got advertisement. You got a lot of influence around America with, pressuring you into fitting in certain groups. I mean, social media is a big thing, too. I know that, But you got to stay true to yourself. Don't worry about whether if you're going to be alone. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you, it's really a lie. Don't worry about it. It's just you're very unique. I don't know who you are that's listening, but anybody that does know me, and I know them, but anybody else, you're very unique. Just do your own thing. You gotta love yourself first, because if you don't love yourself, if you don't respect yourself, nobody's not gonna respect you, no matter how hard you try. No matter how bulk up you look, or no matter how much weight you lose, or whatever it is, however you try to, it's just not good enough. You always will find yourself feeling exhausted. It's like school, for example, public school, right? We work so hard to fit into that group of smart kids, right? To get that straight A, you want to be a straight A student. But you always realize that no matter how hard you study, you're not good enough. Because every school you go, whatever you did in the last school is not good enough. Your certificate is not, you're not good enough. Even with your certificate, you're not good enough. Because you're competing against what? One job? And all you looked at is a number. So no matter how smart you are in your school, for example, you're never good enough. Not according to that paradigm. And this is something that a lot of people need to look at that for themselves. I mean, I can only say so much, and I'm only speaking through experience because I've seen it. And even though I've seen it, I just decided not to stress myself out. Was I a straight A student? No. Did I care so much? No, I don't give a damn. I graduated high school, like I don't really care about it, but I graduated, went to a trade school, I mean, I did what I did. These are the choices I made, That was it. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to fall into the get the straight A grade, whatever. I mean, you're just not good enough. You're learning stuff. You're learning things to be told. You're not using your full creativity. You're not using your full potential when you go to school, especially these public schools in America. But just do yourself a favor. You're much more than, just recognize that you're much more than getting a straight A, an A mark in your test. Just understand that truth. We all have to rediscover that to ourselves. Because again, if you don't respect yourself, nobody's not going to respect you. And if you're going to look for others to do that, to respect you, you're going to be disappointed. You will be disappointed, and a lot of people have to find out the hard way. I know that. A lot of people have to find out the hard way. And you don't have to. You don't have to go through that. But I understand that we go through these things. These are spiritual lessons that we going through to learn about ourselves. I think I covered a lot with the status quo. Remember, you are unique. We're all unique. Nobody can take anything away from anybody. You just be yourself, and whatever decision you make in your life, and whatever comes back at you, you have to understand that you're the focal point of your experience, whether it's good, bad, doesn't matter. We definitely are author and creator of our own lives. That's it. So just be the captain of your own ship. And yeah, I cover a lot on this journal. Okay, until then, I will be back for part 62. Take care.